What's going on, MSFers? Duelim here, back here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Thanos Endgame. That's right. The guy who looks like Humpty Dumpty is extremely constipated in his portrait photo, but nevertheless, this guy is ridiculously good. So he is going to be a villain, cosmic, skill, brawler, and obviously annihilator. Now, the best part about this is he is skill. That's right, cosmic, and he's skill, which is absolutely incredible. If you are still working through DD7, this guy is a no-brainer for cosmic section along with the other annihilators. Let's get into his speed. So his speed is at 123, which is a pretty interesting amount. 123 is one of the least used speed numbers in the game, actually. But his speed is pretty good. Obviously, Gore is at 129. I believe Thanos is going second or third on this team as long as there's no taunt, because Silver Surfer's at 125. Ultimus is at 121, and then Gore was like Gladiator was 121, yeah, as well, tied with Ultimus. So Thanos Endgame going third on the team if he's with Silver Surfer and obviously Gore. Now let's get into his kit. So for his basic balanced strike, initially it's attack primary target for 80% damage, apply heal block, which is great, and then you're going to be reducing speed bar of primary target for 5%. You're also going to be applying bleeds, getting some more damage, and then heal block for 2 turns. And then the T4 is just extra damage, so it's 70% damage to primary target. And honestly, this is pretty lackluster, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But I've noticed most people have a lot of T4s since Spotlight Raid has come out. So if you have a bunch of extra ones and you want to put this luxury one on, go for it. But if you're lower on T4s or want to make sure you have enough for teams coming up, whatever that might be, you could definitely skip this one and reassess later. For his special, Unavoidable Future, so this is a lot in his special. So bury yourself in all allies. This is not tied to annihilators as well. For 15% of this character's max health, copy 1 random negative effect on this character and each ally to primary target. Attack primary target for 100% damage. Apply exposed, trauma, and stun. That's right, he's applying exposed, which is ridiculously good. Chain to 2 adjacent enemies for 50% damage, and apply offense down, and counterattack breaks this chain. And then as we keep going, it gets more damage. Then it's more copy more random negative effects and applying it to the target. More damage to primary and adjacent. More chains. Offense down for 2 turns. And then it's copy all negative effects on this character and each ally to primary target, which is great. And then more damage. And then the T4 is going to be 70% extra damage to primary and secondary. And then applying trauma for 2 turns and stun for 2 turns. And then it chains to 5 adjacent enemies, which this T4 is an absolute no-brainer. Applying trauma is ridiculously good for 2 turns. And applying stun for 2 turns. Like, it doesn't get better than that. This is literally better than Dormammu's special. And Dormammu's a mythic character. So he's literally doing trauma and stun for 2 turns when Dormammu only does stun for 1 turn, but trauma for 2. So this is a really, really good move. Absolute essential T4. As for his ult, Inevitable Culling. Clearing 1 negative effect on self, gain offense up, attack all enemies for 90% piercing. It also ignores defense up, so kind of like Kang's special and ult. Or special and basic, not his ult. And then it's clearing more negative effects. It's clearing all negative effects. You're applying defense down, applying heal block. It's more piercing as well. And then 50% piercing to primary and secondary targets. And then this is what makes Thanos Endgame ridiculously, ridiculously good. Reduce the duration of all positive effects on each enemy by 2. Any positive effect that has a duration of 0 expires instantly, including Safeguard. That's right. Thanos Endgame Ultimate clears Safeguard. Now, the way they work around this is he's not actually clearing Safeguard. He is literally moving time forward on the positive effect. So it's essentially like a positive effect, like time advancement. So they're essentially using those positive effects and losing them. So they found a workaround to take Safeguard out and clear it, and that is on his ultimate, which is really, really, really good. And this thing hits like an absolute truck. So this one, an absolute essential T4 without a shadow of a doubt. And then his passive, Rain Fire. So the first time this character drops below 50% health, clear all negative effects on self and all Annihilator allies. Attack all enemies for 100% plus 100% piercing, and 15% drain. It's unavoidable, cannot be blocked or counterattacked. And then once per turn, when an enemy with exposed is attacked, generate 1 ability energy for 1 random ally or self that was not at full energy on start of current turn. So this is very similar to the Vol exposed mechanic. So it's literally just an energy battery, which is really, really good in a lot of modes. And notice how this is not tied to any team whatsoever. This is absolutely anyone. So this is not tied to Annihilators. This is not tied to villains. This is not tied to Cosmic. This is any ally whatsoever. So Thanos plug and play is going to be ridiculously good. In Arena, enemies just cannot gain immunity, period, plain and simple, like the Mysterio passive, which is great. And then generate 1 ability energy for 2 random allies with his exposed mechanic. And then the attack when this character drops below 50% health gains 15% drain as well. In Arena, this character and all Annihilator allies cannot gain trauma, which is so good. Because that negates the Mephisto empowered book move where it puts trauma on your team. And then his T4, which is also a no-brainer, 150% extra piercing to all enemies. The first time this character drops below 50% health, reduce the duration of all positive effects by 5 with 1,000% extra focus. So any positive effect that has duration of 0 expires instantly, including Safeguard. So this just wipes all positive effects. And if you're wondering, hey, is this just for, the positive effects? Is it just to clear the, all that stuff? No. This thing hits so hard, it's ridiculous. And I am so scared for some PvE content where I see this dude in a raid or in a Scourge, and you're just dropping him below 50% health over and over and over again, and he's just raining fire on you and deleting your whole team, clearing all of your positive effects, because this is not limited to just Arena. So he's clearing all your positive effects. He's almost deleting your team, and then he's healing back up to full. Oh my, it's ridiculously good. This is an insane kit, and honestly, I'm kind of shocked he's not Dark Promotion credits, because this guy is absolutely nutty, and this is the one of the Annihilators that I would say spend your money on. If you are going to core one character, or you are going to spend money on one character, Thanos Endgame is the one you do it on, because of his plug and play ability, but also because of just the raw damage he does. He is ridiculously good. Now let's talk about ISO class. So for my ISO class requirement, and it's going to be 2 actually. So in Arena with the 3-piece, which is going to be Thanos Endgame, Gladiator, Gore, and then depending if you have Mephisto or not, you're probably going to run Mephisto, and Apocalypse is going to be the core team if you have Mephisto. If not, you're probably going to be running Ultimus and Apocalypse, because Ultimus is a great tank buster to take out those Gores. In Arena, he is going to be a Raider in Arena, okay? Because the mythics that you're going to pair the Annihilators with are always going to be strikers, because Mephisto's always going to be a striker because he has extremely good damage. Same thing with Apocalypse. You want them as strikers because they're going to still hit way harder. Now, in his team, I would honestly say he's probably going to be a striker, because this team lacks a lot of strikers. So remember, let's go back here. We have Ultimus as a Raider. We have Gore as a Raider. Gladiator is a Fortifier. Silver Surfer, probably a striker like I talked about in my rework video when he's on the team. And then Thanos Endgame, probably another striker. And the reason why he's going to benefit from striker is because he's going to be reducing speed bar primary target by 5%. So all of his ISO attacks are going to be reducing speed bar, kind of like Ghost Basic or Sylvie Basic. So this is really good, but you could absolutely stick with Raider because his passive procs with Raider and it hits everybody. His ult hits everybody and it's great. His special hits everybody. So Raider is still a great option because of all of those crits you're going to get out there. But I do want to make sure you have an alternate option because Striker is going to be good because there's really no other Strikers on the team. So that's going to be it for Thanos Endgame. This guy's ridiculously good. Do not sleep on him. Take him to G19 the second you unlock him, whether you buy him, you core him, or you wait for the free-to-play method. He is ridiculously, ridiculously good, and he will be good for a very long time because he is the only character in the game that can clear Safeguard with 2 different moves. So he is going to be plug and play for an extremely long time, and he has an exposed mechanic on his special. I can't say enough good things. I could sit here for another 20 minutes, but you guys probably aren't watching already. If you still are watching, leave a comment down below saying you're still watching. And you know what? Comment pumpernickel so I know you actually were still watching. But until next time, this has been Duelim. Later, y'all.